Hello, Arklatex, and welcome to this week's edition of Money on a Mission, brought to you by the team of Evans Financial Group. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and joining me in the studio today, we have Colin Evans. He is the co-owner and financial advisor, Micah Tipton. We've got a great show for you today. The title of today's show is To Contribute or Not to Contribute, the Problem with Your Qualified Plans. This is a huge topic. We're so glad you're joining us for this important conversation. Micah, Colin, great to be here with both of you. How are you?
Great. This is just a wonderful experience, and love just being able to give financial information and just kind of spread the message throughout our region.
Yes, for sure. And I love that you get to help all of Arklatex. I mean, your reach does really expand, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Way beyond just Shreveport and Brozier City.
Absolutely,
so.
Absolutely.
Well, awesome. Well, again, we're so glad that you're here with us today, and the title of today's show is To Contribute or Not to Contribute. The inspiration for today's show came out of an article that came out in Investment News last year. And the title of the article said, "Stop contributing to your IRAs and 401ks." Now you might read that. That's a jarring headline to read, right? The article even started off and said, "Stop contributing to your IRAs and 401ks." That has to be a typographical error. After all, traditional retirement planning has always preached maximizing contributions to tax-deferred individual retirement accounts and 401ks in order to build your retirement savings. The article went on to say that this decades-old strategy no longer works, and therefore it's time for people to think about reducing their traditional IRA balances, not increasing them. So a lot to unpack here, but I want to start off by asking, can you explain why someone might suggest to stop contributing to your IRA or 401k?
Well, we have to start a little bit just from the beginning of that, to give a little premise, just in case our viewers don't quite understand, a 401k, an IRA, or something that we consider a qualified plan. And what we mean by qualified is you haven't paid taxes on it yet. Mm-hmm. And as we're putting these funds into our 401k or our IRA, those are going in on a pre-tax basis. We're getting that and able to take a deduction, which is coming off of our income for the year. Mm-hmm. And what seems to be the issue and be the problem is later on is down the road, again, at some point we're going to have a tax bill due.
Yes.
And so this is kind of what when we're understanding, say, why would we want to no longer contribute is thinking about what's our tax rates right now versus what might they be down the road. And that's where I really kind of gleaned that from the article, thinking, at first it is a very bold statement. It's like, wait, you don't want me to save any money? You don't want me to put money back?
I thought this was how I was supposed to save for retirement.
What about my employers doing a match of my 401k?
Yes.
And, of course they take it as a little bit of a bold statement, but the point from that author or writer's taking is we're looking at this from a strategic standpoint, being that of taxes and the fact that we are in a very, very low tax rates right now. With the potential for those to increase in the future, it might be a wise move, or at least something that people should be aware of and look at, of possibly looking at paying the taxes on these things now, which would be something simple like a Roth option or along those lines. And this is where we've discussed before, is this is time where Roth conversions might actually come into play, because we might want to get some of these tax strategies while we can, and while taxes are on sale today. That's it's become a big thing. It's funny when people say, what do you mean taxes are on sale? So I didn't go to my accountant and he told me that, hey, we're giving discounted rates today. What we're saying by that is when we understand that we are, fortunately, without sounding political, we're still in Trump's tax code era. And we know down the road, at the end of 2025 and beginning of 2026, the sunset provision is going to end. And without a doubt, we are reverting back to Obama era of taxes. And this is if Congress does nothing.
Right.
And we all know they are very good at doing nothing. Like when we see a government shutdown, it's like, well, we're not getting paid, so we quit.
Right.
We're taking off. Like, wow, I can't do that.
Right.
I've got responsibilities, and they have a responsibility to the American people.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where they're taking that approach is, maybe this is time to look at paying these tax dollars now while they are on sale and we are in lower rates, as opposed to if I have to take these out in a future date and paying a little bit higher rate on the taxes.
Right. So several things I want to unpack about what you just said. To your point, when we're saying taxes are on sale right now, what a lot of folks don't realize is that we are in the third lowest tax brackets that we've ever been in the history of our country. I think it's easy to forget that when we're all feeling like we're taxed to death, right? The other thing you brought up, I think think one thing that makes this conversation and really our industry confusing is we have a lot of different terms for the same thing.
Right.
So we're talking about qualified plans. They are also known as tax-deferred plans or pre-tax plans, and that's what the majority of Americans currently have the bulk of their wealth saved up in. Maybe for you it's a traditional 401k, 403b, maybe a traditional IRA. And here's what's really frustrating, because back when these accounts were created, we were told that this was a really good thing for us because you put the money in now and you get a tax break, a tax deduction for doing so. And then supposedly, the money's going to grow tax deferred, and once you hit retirement, you should be in a lower tax bracket. But is that really what folks are encountering today?
Well, when you look at what our national debt is right now, $35 trillion and growing, when we ask clients, do you think taxes are going to go down in the future or go up? It's unanimous that everybody thinks taxes are going to go up. And if that's what we really believe, then why are we avoiding paying taxes now in low tax brackets and just leaving it up to chance in the future of, what will tax brackets be? We expect them to be higher. But, one thing that many people don't realize is, the IRS still refers to an IRA as an individual retirement arrangement. Well, I don't know about you, Kristen, I don't know about our viewers, but I was not present to help make that arrangement.
Right?
So
Yes.
I have to believe it's in the government's best benefit for us to defer our taxes because, they have a share of that IRA, that 401k, and it's the taxes. And as your money grows in that account, the government's money grows in that account. Yeah. So you're looking at a potentially higher tax bill in the future that can possibly be avoided.
Right.
That's what we want people to understand.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks forget that you have a silent partner in these accounts, and it's Uncle Sam, and he becomes quite loud the longer that we live, the more we get to retirement. So if you have $1 million saved up in your IRA, and it's traditional, for example, or your 401k, guess what? That's not all your money. But what would you say to someone who's watching and going, wait a second, hold the phone. I thought that once I got to retirement, won't my income be lower and therefore my tax bracket be lower since I'm no longer working?
It can be, and this is a little bit of a retirement myth, but when you talk to people, say, hey, I'm going to be in a lower tax bracket. Why? Why are we saying, do you want to be in a lower tax bracket? I sure don't. Lower
Because
tax
that
bracket?
means less income.
This is less income. This is less revenue that I have coming in. I want to travel and enjoy my retirement time frame. But as as Micah said, that's an individual retirement arrangement. Most of us know this as we've heard the term individual retirement account, but it's actually an arrangement. And like you said, I don't remember signing up for that partnership with the IRS. However, we have that, and this is people don't realize when they have that gigantic IRA or that gigantic 401k that they save and save and save, this arrangement becomes a phenomenal program for Uncle Sam.
Yes.
And we just released a calculator at evanstaxbill.com, and our viewers can actually click on the QR code on their screen, and they can pull up and they can plug in their own IRA numbers or their 401k numbers, and they can actually put in a little of the tax information and say, what was our tax bracket last year, or what do I think my tax bracket might be? And this will actually generate a report telling them, here is some expected taxes, and it gives them a hard copy, but it's also a little bit of an eye-awakening. And we don't want this to be any sort of scare tactic, but it's also it's just a reality. It's like this is an arrangement with Uncle Sam. You really need to be aware of it. So this is one of the forefronts of putting this calculator out, just so local people in our area have the opportunity to go, goodness, I saved $500,000 in my IRA. I did not realize $150,000 to $200,000 is my potential tax bill to Uncle Sam. Is there something, or are there some ways that we can strategize and move around this and hopefully keep more money on our side of the ledger as opposed to Uncle Sam's? And there absolutely is. So it's a crucial time that we can actually really look at some tax strategy mitigations with people in their retirement accounts.
Yes, very well said. And I think to your point, again, we invite you to go and you can can do this right now. You can go to evanstaxbill.com, or you can click on that QR code that will take you directly to this tax bill calculator. And what folks don't realize is that if you don't have your own strategic tax plan in place for yourself, guess what? The government has one for you, and it's going to be in their best interest. And once you see side by side the government's plan for you versus what you could potentially save as a result of engaging in some strategic tax planning, you can't unsee that difference. And we know that you're going to want to have help to know how to enact these strategies for yourself. So again, we're focusing a lot on taxes today because it is a huge part of someone's overall financial plan. Talk about once someone gets that information from the tax bill calculator, let's say they want to take it further and they want to come in and meet with the team of Evans Financial and really develop a proactive strategic tax plan for themselves. What does that process look like?
You're going to just hop on, with one of the links on that we're going to show you guys, and you can hop into our calendar and you can book an appointment. We are very, very low-key, laid back. You're going to come into our office. You're going to be offered a drink menu from a cappuccino to it could be your favorite beverage of a Coke or whatever. And you're going to just visit, and we're just going to have a general conversation of, hey, let's look at some strategies that could affect you directly. We don't want to, give a blanket advice to people. That's, I think, is unfair. And I think about that when I look at some certain TV advisors that I won't name names. They've rhymed with rave and AMSI. But they were kind of blanket advice, and that can do some injustice when we really need to dial down to a specific person's plan to give them the true comfort and the true retirement strategies that they need as they're walking into the retirement years.
Right, and I know that's why you all are so passionate about offering this complimentary written financial plan, because there's no two people alike, therefore there's no two plans that should be alike either. So if any of this is resonating with you, if maybe we're bringing up some things that you haven't thought of before, maybe you're already working with another financial professional, but if they're not having these kinds of conversations with you, it's time to get a second opinion. So we invite you to claim your complimentary written financial plan from Colin and Micah and the team of Evans Financial Group by calling that number you see on the bottom of your screen, 888-504-2351. Or if you'd rather connect online, if you scan this QR code, that's going to take you over to a landing page, ask you a few short, simple questions, and then a member of the team from Evans Financial Group will reach out to connect with you to schedule your complimentary meeting that way as well. We've got a lot more to cover today. Stay with us on our conversation of to contribute or not to contribute. That's the question. We'll be back right after this.